Hello, New City team. This is Christoph. Tim asked me to take a look at the lobby, specifically issues related to the acoustics, the general sort of look and feel of the lobby, the performance of the lobby, and also address how art and gallery space is addressed. Um, One of the first ideas is to create a central focus and also some casual lounge space in the lobby area, something I'm calling the living room right now. You can also see the mobile art walls that we've already discussed over here that are sitting in the niche. I'm still talking to my millwork guy if we can. We're using standard material to keep the cost down, 4x8 sheets. If possible, we're gonna dial these in so that they actually fill that niche perfectly. Um, Another idea, and again, these are ideas that I think can be taken sort of a la carte. They work independent of each other, so you can take one or the other or all of them together. A group table in this corner, I think, would be a better use of this sort of corner pocket, which is a very nice space. This would be ideal for a small Bible study or just um, somebody to come alongside and sit down and take a break from the crowd if there's a lot of people gathering in the lobby between services. Another idea that's represented here is between these two existing columns to simply have maybe it would probably be an 80% opaque white screen that could be pulled down to create a little separation between this realm and this more public realm by putting a projector in the ceiling over here. This could also be a projection screen. So for smaller events, for smaller presentations, or also just to have some graphically visual interest in the lobby space. So those address acoustics. The living room addresses acoustics simply by putting soft things in the space. If you put carpet tiles down on the floor, some furnishings, and then also on the ceiling, I would propose dropping a tectum ceiling, which is an acoustic soaker that registers with this square to really create a sense of place, and also to add more material that soaks sound in that space. I'm going to jump quickly to an image of the existing space, which you're all familiar with, and I'm going to slowly fade in a sketch I just did of what I am kind of proposing or what I'm talking about. And for the time being, let's not think so much about what's going on this back wall. I want to stick to addressing this idea of a central living space in the lobby and a registered floor, or sorry, ceiling plane above that. That ceiling plane is something that is bounded on the north side by the existing skylight. Here on the south side is the other existing skylight, and one of these skylights that's existing would pierce through these 4-foot by 8-foot tectum panels, and I think we would just replace the existing downlights with small can lights that would be embedded in that ceiling plane. So this, acting with the carpet and the sofa and other soft material down here, would do a lot to deaden the space acoustically. Over here on the right, you can see this idea of a roll shade that pulls down between these columns, and I think we could probably put some Hayflow hardware in the floor that would keep this taut. And then over here, I'm showing a projector that shoots an image onto that screen. In the foreground, you can see the edge of this larger group table and the idea of a low bookshelf that would still allow art to be hung above it. I'm going to zoom out a little bit in this sketch to include this area of the lobby, which currently has our coffee bar. And this idea is a bigger idea and it's a more costly idea, but I think it's worth considering. I took a look at the existing bar, and I think very fortunately all the parts and pieces of this bar are very mobile, with exception to 2 pipes coming out of the wall over here, the hot and the cold copper pipe. I think you can actually just take this whole assembly and relocate it to this location here. And the idea is that by reconfiguring a lot of the same material you have, you create this space, which becomes the face, the interior branded face of the church. So when you walk through these doors, or the doors on this side of me, or the doors over here, you find your way to this, what I think performs naturally as the central hub, sort of the social hub of the church. And this bar becomes the hello, the initial this is where you're welcomed. So we find somebody that's very happy and full of information that stands behind this bar, and whether you want to get a drink at that bar or just come and get some information, this to me feels like a very good backdrop to this room, and it also feels like a natural place for this kind of thing, for Welcome to New City. So I'm proposing potentially losing these two TVs, painting this. In my view, I would paint this a dark gray, and then have Welcome to New City as white vinyl graphics imposed upon that. I'm showing small, almost like library style reading lights. So this adds sort of a domestic warm touch to the feel of this space, which I think is needed. I'm going to move back now to our plan view and show you what I've just described. In the plan, showing the bar, so this would be taking the existing coffee bar and reconfiguring it to this location, and taking some of these existing pieces, reusing the laminated glulam beams that comprise these L benches into a large sort of the sittable portion of the coffee bar. And so, I mean, we would definitely need to be adding some material, some fabrication to this equation, but I'm trying as best as possible to do this with what I call low cost, high impact moves, and just reusing a lot of the existing material that we have on site. Zooming out to look at the entire first floor plan, you can see where the existing coffee bar is located. I do, by the way, very much like the idea of this being a coffee bar with, activating this edge on central. I think the proportion of the space and the function of the space, having so many doors and operable portions, challenges that as an idea. So in this new idea of the relocating the bar here, this becomes again sort of a smaller living space, and something that I think the lobby needs. I think it needs casual space where you can pull somebody aside and have a conversation, where a mother can take a crying baby and leave the sanctuary and find a nice place to sit off to the side. I'm also showing benches along the window here. That these would be movable benches, but I think being able to sit at the side of a waiting area is necessary in some instances. Something else I'm showing here is the existing bathroom. Turns the corner, there's a black door frame, there's some thermostats and switches on the wall. Generally speaking, if you're standing here looking in this direction, this terminus, or this sort of backdrop to the room, is congested. There's a lot going on. There's a TV hanging here, the wall jogs, and then there's view into this other room, and I'm proposing cleaning that up simply by taking this drywall and extending it with a fin that registers with this existing opening, and this again becomes an art wall, something that you can hang a piece of art on. So these are some thoughts to consider, and again, they can be taken individually, or they can be taken as a whole. I think when asked to look at something which might be as small as adding this idea of a living room to the lobby, I always want to consider the big picture and where we're going to be in 5 years. Even if this isn't something we do all together immediately, it's something that we should be forecasting, something we need to look at as a whole. And that concludes my little video presentation. I did this by video simply because we're busy, and I think Brian's out of town, and this is a good way to get the ideas across. I will be sending this to you as a PDF as well. Thank you, guys.